All right, this is episode 7, I believe. Hold on, 1,
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Because the last one was
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we can
this,
count.
Yes, and this is we get to see who trained Daredevil, which I mean, again, knowing nothing about the comics and just going off the movie, I didn't even know someone did train him. It makes so much more sense. But then again, the chemicals enhance a lot. I
don't remember Stick being in the Affleck film.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because nobody trained him in the movie. So I didn't even know
maybe the first time we've
did
ever
train
seen
him.
Stick in a.
Well, okay, here's the question, because you've seen ahead. Do they ever address that the chemicals actually... I mean, I know blind people that their other sentences are heightened, but do they actually address that the chemicals do heighten everything else for these two? Because it seems like, even for a blind person, this seems like really advanced stuff.
I don't know. Some of this stuff comes out of the later incarnation, the Miller one. Stick belongs to a group called the Chaste, and there's like a few of them, and they've all got names like, my favorite is Shaft.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but there's a Stick, and the other one I remember is there's Stone, because I was like, oh, Sticks and Stones.
Yeah.
I don't think he was chemically enhanced. I think he's like kind of, how do you describe it, super ninja. They go up against, there's like a group of ninjas, and they're already hinting at it in this called the Hand, and so it's the Chaste kind of versus the Hand.
Oh, they're gonna bring the Hand in. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna bring. Okay, so
right.
you know the Hand. Okay, so yeah, they're. I mean, that's the connection
I didn't put
already.
Together that this was the Hand. That's
there's
really
sort of
cool.
a connection already with the Yakuza, and so there's this other fight going on. So yeah, I don't remember Stick. I don't think that was chemical. He was born blind. And I think just through his martial arts training and, Marvel magic or whatever, but I don't ever remember him being exposed to chemicals from what little I remember. Maybe I'm wrong, someone can correct me.
Well, now I'm putting together, I kind of knew this, I'm just now making the connection that this Stick is the same Stick that Splinter is satirizing in the Turtles, because, he's the Sensei and stuff like that, and I know the foot is the Hand as well, but I knew what the Hand was even before I do that satire. Because they addressed him a few times in X-Men, the Hand. I know it was just a big ninja gang. Pretty much.
Yeah, so if you have a vague recollection of that, that's where we're going with this.
Well, and I love, origin stories where a master is training the apprentice and stuff can either be done so well or so recycled and so boring, and I think this is done really well.
This does it right because Stick's just such a dick.
Yeah, but you also see...
hilarious.
You see where he's... For the most part, where he's coming from, you sort of see how it works, and you get his philosophy... And then I like
Don't get attached. It's very Game of Thrones. Don't get attached.
But I like how they go as well into what does, what's the drawing point? What's the point where you go too far? I mean, this Black Sky Kid thing, whatever.
I gotta say, like Scott Glenn says it, Braku Sky.
Braku Sky.
Braku Sky.
Yeah, I have no idea what that thing is. I mean, my first thought is maybe like...
I'm so glad you asked. I have no fucking clue. Not a clue.
My first thought was maybe like... I only mostly know X-Men, so I remember there's a guy either called like the Shadow King or the Shadow Master, so I thought maybe something like that.
There's three options we can go with. Alien... connecting it somehow to, the Infinity Gauntlet and the whole invasion from Avengers. Mutant, connecting it somehow to, like, X-Men or Demon. Whatever it is, Scott Glenn pretty much, or Stick's just like, it's something you don't want in your world, is what he said. So I'm taking it that he's not fully human. But... who the hell? I have no clue. If it's a comic reference, it's beyond me.
I don't. I mean, it looks like they're already doing Apocalypse in the next X-Men, and but they had him pretty young in the shot that they showed. But I don't think that's a connection.
There's a couple connections I can talk about later because I don't want to give things away with other characters. But there is another looser connection maybe to another series involving martial arts and supernatural cities. But I don't want to get into that because I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah,
but,
no, that's fine.
But even then, I'm just guessing on that, and I don't know that series as well either. So
the show does really well at sort of like, I mean, I guess Marvel always has done this well since they started the cinematic universe. That's sort of poking like, might be this, or did you notice that? These little Easter eggs, but still keeping you engaged in the story. They're not like, what was this? It's just subtle enough where it's like, like the Ace of Spades. For the Bullseye.
I think
why else would they put that in there?
Yeah, I mean, there's.
I think
the guy at the end of this one is supposed to be Stick had a second in command, and that was Stone. I think that's supposed to be Stone he's talking to. I think, but it's definitely one of that group of the chase. Like that much is certain. So I like the little hints they do without getting too. I mean, it's not like Lord of the Rings, like
or the new Hobbit. It's like Legolas, I want you to meet this range of the North. Who is he? Aragorn. Okay. I mean, I hate that shit when they do it so terrible. But these are such nice little touches that even if you don't know, it wouldn't be too distracting. It still sort of pulls you in.
But what about Senor Foggy? I just love hearing the words Senor Foggy.
Is that his real name or what? I mean, did someone actually call him Foggy? Or I mean, it's like after a while, I'm like, okay, what's his real fucking name? Is everyone gonna call him fucking Foggy?
No love for the fog, man.
I will say this, there's something about, like, okay, if this chick, like, she's got her mace and stuff, and she's not especially strong and stuff, so if he comes in and saves her, it's like, okay, fair enough, but it's like, when she sprays the guy, it's like, I can take care of myself. Don't do that shit, man. Don't do it. No, she's strong, because when somebody saves her, she says, hey, I don't need to be saved. It doesn't work that way.
See, here's how it works. If you kicked his ass first, and then Foggy happened to walk in, but when basically you have some guy throw a baseball at another guy and hit him with a bat, and you've done nothing so far.
And then spray him once he's down. I take care of myself. No,
doesn't work that way.
Thank you,
no,
is what you say.
Because you just got saved by Foggy.
Yeah. So it's saying, I can take care of myself after Mace. It doesn't make you like a strong, like strong will, whatever. No, it makes you a bitch.
I will say, I will say this. But that's what's going on there, is she suddenly felt and suddenly realized, just like, I look like a schmuck. So she's just angry, just like, I can take care of myself. Psh! Like, it's like anytime somebody gets caught screwing up, and they're like, what, I got this, even though they just completely fucked up. Like, that's what's going on there. Like, she just doesn't want to look like an idiot.
If that was the case, they didn't explain that joke very well.
Oh, see, I got it right away. I think she was just like, I'm not even sure she believed it in that moment.
Like, the joke would be more like she says,
she's thanking him later when they're talking to Yurik, and she's like, and Foggy just kicks ass. Like, so there she's admitted it. I think in the heat of the moment, though, she's like, what? I don't need any help.
The joke would work if she's like, I can take care of myself, and then, like, the guy's about to stab her, and then he, like, hits him again with a baseball bat or something like that. That would be completing the joke. But her spraying and saying, I can take care of it's like, I don't know what they were going for exactly.
I did like his line after that. Can we not discuss this in front of the maniacs?
Everyone's gonna be like, oh, so you think she's a bitch? No, she's a fine character. There's nothing wrong with her.
Oh, you just angered Tumblr, dude.
No, but that's the one moment where I was just like, what was that about?
My personal opinion is, like, anybody who gets caught screwing up, she's in denial mode in the split second. Like, what? I'm fine. Everything's fine. How are you? Like, I think that's what was going on there.
Maybe I did.
That's how I read it anyway.
But no, I really like these stories about, like, the sensei and the one being trained. If they're done well, and this throws in enough twists and turns, they make him just interesting and badass enough. And again, I'm always fascinated when I can watch these two just sit on a bench. And I feel like they're sitting there for a long time, but I am so interested in what they're saying.
It's a long scene, and it really works.
But I feed off of every word.
No, it really works.
And the kid, I'm glad he's given more to do in this. Not that he didn't do the other stuff well, he did. but he's given much more opportunity to shine in this.
How many poor
he's
kid
really
actors?
good.
Yeah. How many crappy kid actors have we seen just reviewing and like doing nostalgia critics?
Yeah.
And like this kid is legitimately really good.
Well, the next one we gotta do, I'm a little concerned about because it does star kids.
Well,
but yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I will say, like, remembering how Stick looked back in the day, the way it was drawn, Scott Glenn, perfect casting. I'm just like, I want the hair a little messier, but apart from the hair, I'm just like, yeah, that's
it's messy.
Stick.
It's just short.
Yeah, I'm like, that's Stick. That's exactly how I'm like, good casting on that. Trying to think what the hell else happened.
Really, it's all on them. I mean, for the most part, because he is such a good, interesting.
Never give your sensei ice cream wrappers to represent friendship.
He may hold on to it, but he just won't be your sensei anymore. So yeah, that kind of sucks.
See, here's the funny thing. I know it kind of upset you, and you're like, I knew he held on to it. Like, I find that even more dickish because that just means he's like, you know what? Deep down, I really do care for this kid, but fuck him. He can complete his own goddamn training now.
No.
Like, I can't show that. Like, I'm like, huh?
No. That's exactly what I do get. That he does care, but he's not the one he was looking for this, because they cannot care for each other.
But he just completely abandons him altogether. I know.
It's a dick move.
Yeah, I found it.
Well, I'm scarred for life.
Had he just completely tossed it and we never saw it again, like, I would have found that less dickish. I find it more dickish actually that he kind of held on to it. Like, I don't know, because that just means like, wow, he's so compartmentalized his like life that he's just like, well, I guess technically I still care and will hold on to it, but I'll make him think.
Well, I think they're trying to show too that it's like he's, he believes his philosophy, but he's flawed as well.
Yeah, because he didn't drop that on purpose. I'm positive that was an accident.
Yeah.
Which means Murdoch never would have even known. Like.
But it's
I love it.
Yeah, I like it because it does show he is flawed. That I truly believe he believes his philosophy, but he can be flawed too. He can hold on to this thing, and keep it for all these years.
And this is he has to believe it. Like, he's got this group of the Chaste, and he's fighting the Hand, and now we've got all the other shit going on in the Marvel comic universe, like, in Avengers and stuff like this. So it is funny because this show, with its hints, really kind of drops what a dangerous time this is in this universe. It just seems like anything that can and will go wrong, it's just going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know why, this darkness and this heavy stuff being thrown in, because I would usually have a problem with this. Like, come on, I even sort of brought up before, this Avengers world with Iron Man and Captain America and stuff, which can have heavy moments, but this is really fucking dark, heavy stuff, and brutal. And I'm not sure why it works here. It could just be the characters are so well done and that it's got the right focus in the right place, and it sucks you in just at the right pace and the right amount, and it introduces new characters at just the right time that I buy it enough.
I think it's a number of things. There's that. It's really well done. It introduces new characters. Unlike the other superheroes, it's told from the ground up, and it's told from bottom up instead of top down. Like, outside of Spider-Man and some of the other ones, like, a lot of them are just like, Iron Man, I'm super rich. Thor, I'm a god. Captain America is made to be a super genetic warrior. A lot of them seem like high and lofty compared to, I'm some dude in a black mask just running around kicking criminal scum. Like, it's very low-key, even more low-key than Batman early on. And then on top of that, I think the Marvel universe and the state it's in right now with the movies and everything kind of needs this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we need something dark to say, no, this means something. Real people are getting hurt. It's not just Avengers where we're going to crack wise and do something like that. Like, this affects people.
Yeah. And we love Avengers, as you well know.
I love the Avengers, and I love Iron Man and a lot of the Marvel movies, but it is a one-trick pony after a while. Like, after a while, it's like, okay, I think we need to ratchet it up a little and, like, make this important. Like, as much as I like something like Guardians of the Galaxy, like, I need a little dark and gritty just to remind us, oh yeah, this is fucking up real people's lives. Like,
well,
this is
a little more
part
variety,
of a larger universe.
As great as these characters are in Avengers, and I love watching them in their individual movies and stuff, and they are such fun characters, even more, kind of that variety of going into the really... We can have the really light and fluffy like Guardians of the Galaxy, and we can get the really dark and gritty like with Daredevil.
It's the same reason I enjoy The Flash. Like, it's the opposite with DC. It's like, that's normally their territory, and it's like, hey, once in a while I need some kind of just old school fun goofy out of these people. Like, and that's why it works. Both of those shows.
Yeah.
They're outside of the normal box that they're normally doing, so...
It's a good contrast. I think they work really well. And, I'll admit, watching this, and again, you see his origin story now in the middle, so you know what it's building up to. It really reminded me a lot of Batman Begins, how it took a story that, I'd say, I've seen this a million times, I'm not sure I want to see it again, especially with Batman. I was very kind of closed off to the idea of, like, showing his backstory, but it's done so well, and I love it when something can surprise me when I'm going in thinking, I don't want to see this, I don't want to know this stuff, and then I say, wow, I'm really glad I know that now. Like, this is actually a really fascinating point of view on it.
Just like Daredevil, Batman Begins was a surprise. Like, both of these were big surprises, because I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, we had the Affleck film, this and that, and we're doing a TV show on Daredevil, and like, I went into Batman Begins thinking the same thing, and I came out of that movie, I'm like, wow, that was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, the origin stuff, especially in that movie, is very nicely done.
I wouldn't have expected that, because the last film we had was Batman and Robin, and, the last thing we had in this universe via this was the Ben Affleck Daredevil, so not their finest hours, but... Yeah, I totally agree. It reminds me a lot of Batman Begins.
Yeah, and it's well done, and again, that writing, as much as Batman Begins can, overtalk a little bit, they still kept it, during the training at least, they kept what was saying, just like, here's the important meaty stuff. Here's the meaty stuff.
Honestly, Batman Begins is one of the least Nolan-y films for some of the Nolan tropes of like the extremely...
It's got a good chunk. It's still got, I
didn't compare
fucking snowy mountains and stuff like that.
Not fucking, who cares about fucking snowy mountains? I'm talking about the overwritten lines of dialogue and philosophy that drones on, and I'm like, I love The Dark Knight, but I mean, if you put Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises together, Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises I remember more in my head as being series of speeches. Whereas Batman Begins, I feel like there was definitely more story.
No, you know what it is? Begins has the speeches early. It has a lot of them, but it's at a time where you need those speeches.
They're much
he's
better
developing.
plays.
He's coming together. Yeah. He's figuring stuff out. Yeah. And he's stating it, through these big developments. Then when he becomes Batman, there's much less of those speeches. They're still there a couple, but there's much less.
Whereas in Dark Knight, as much as I love The Dark Knight, I like it more.
There's a lot of speeches.
Yeah,
and some of them are very good.
Even when he's Batman, there's still these speeches, like... and some of them, are very good, but like I think of that as one of the big Nolanisms, and I felt like Batman Begins had it less. So why are we talking about this? And Daredevil. Good.
You know what? Because I think the conversation with that kid, like we said, they're sitting there and they're just talking, and for one, it's not speeches; they are talking. Even when he says, "Do not ask." Yeah, even when he says, "Do not ask," I mean, it's
which is something Nolan can't do to save his life, is write natural dialogue. All of his dialogue sounds rehearsed, like you're watching a play. Mm-hmm. It's almost like Shakespeare, like it's just very, and...
Which for Shakespearean moments are fine. There are many Shakespearean moments in Batman, but, it's...
But yeah, that's something Nolan can't do, like, is write natural dialogue. But, here the dialogue felt natural. And what is... Some of it's still goofy, like,
Yeah. I mean, it's a good blend of, like, hey, there's talking like teacher and student. I mean, it's very clearly what's going on. We are talking like teacher and student. So he says, you don't ask anything, and then he'll talk, but he's teaching. So when you're teaching, you can get away with that. And when the kid, again, they can pick very select dialogue for the kid to say, and it's very good. And he's impressed. When he's like, that's not answering the question. It's like, you catch on fast. It's like that. It's good dialogue for them to say and for them to work off of each other. It's an actual conversation, even though he's teaching him. And he tells him not to talk. But when he does, it's a conversation. It's learning and it's teaching.
I think the other little thing that I liked about this, and it's something most people don't care about or notice, but Scott Glenn's really speaking Japanese. I don't mean that they would just make up fake Japanese, but to the point that he pronounces black sky, Baraku sky, like, he makes it sound Japanese. And
like, I
watch enough anime. Yeah, I watch enough anime that I'm just like, no, he's really trying his damnedest. Like, he's totally throwing on the English here. It's not black sky, it's Baraku sky. Like, I'm like, this, I would almost swear like I'm watching an anime. You know, it's not perfect, but I'm like, the attention to detail to do a little something like that instead of just saying black sky out of nowhere in the middle of this Japanese
much
sentence.
Much better than Kristen's Spanish, which you can just hear. I don't speak Spanish, but you can hear the American accent all throughout.
Well, no,
but that's fine. That's kind of fitting.
But see, that's okay. Her character wouldn't need to know Spanish fluently. She said in the beginning that she's like, high school.
Yeah, and she's kind of struggling.
Yeah,
like,
whereas Scott Glenn's character is supposed to be immersed in this world, fighting this Japanese ninja clan. Like, it just, those little details, I love those. It just shows the extra attention, you know, and effort thrown into this. So.
And a great start, too. I think when you see the guy running down, he goes into the place, he gets a gun, points it at the elevator and stuff, I'm immediately not invested.
Yeah.
Like, no, what a great opening. I mean, it's just...
the other attention to detail is when the guy gets his hand lopped off and it twitches on the
ground. The twitching finger. What a great addition.
I love it. See, this is what we did the honest thoughts earlier, and we were talking about lack of gore and things like, this is what I want. We're sick.
But you know what it is? I think because we do get so desensitized to violence because it is everywhere and stuff, that when you see a hand cut off, it's like, it means nothing. We see it a million times, but then we see that twitch, it adds a little, ooh. I mean, you get a little twitch watching it, just like, whoa, like they went that extra mile, and it both makes it a little bit more badass, but a little bit more, like, uncomfortable, too.
It resonates, because you're like, okay, this is, even for a comic book show, this is, like, real.
Yeah, like, it ups the ante a little bit.
Versus desensitized sort of violence, where just like, oh, some guy gets his hand cut off, and you barely see the hand, and the guy just goes, ah! Like, just like that, but like, this guy, I'm like, I really believe he got his hand cut off. He's like...
but it's not, they still address that this is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quite gratuitous for the sake of, like, you know, something like The Cell or something like that, where it's just so in your... Be disturbed, you know? It's very much like, hey, we're still comic book.
What does it mean?
Yeah, we're still comic book, but we're going to be a pretty fucking adult comic book, and you gotta be prepared. We're gonna treat this, you know, pretty intense, but not exploitive. You know, it doesn't feel exploitive to me. You know, it's just a right balance. It's a good balance for what this is. So yeah, that's about it. We will see you at the next one. Later.